Hi, my name is Wade, and today I'd like to talk to you about Marvel Legends Armored Spider-Man. I made it happen, nobody else. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro Wave Spider Armor Mark 1. And I never even realized that that's what this armor was called. I always just called it Armored Spider-Man. I'm going to continue to call it that, but I'm very excited about this figure. Back in the old days, I did have the 5-inch Toy Biz one, and I liked it a lot. I've got a lot of fond memories attached to that figure, and I think it's very cool that Hasbro decided to make that figure in Marvel Legends form, because it's not really the most popular Spider-Man look ever, you know. It's very of its time, it's old school 90s, all that good stuff, and I don't really think that we've seen this armor too many times in recent years. Maybe it popped up in a video game or in one of the random Spider-Man comics, but it's not really a really popular armor, I would say. Or not like a popular modern armor. It definitely has its audience. I know a lot of people are excited about this figure, especially the homie Billy Moon. Shout out to Billy Moon. This is a version of Spider-Man that he really wanted, and I'm happy that he's finally able to have it. I think that's very cool. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. Starting off with the awesome packaging, we do have the standard Spider-Man retro packaging. You can see the figure through the window along with his accessories. Over here, we get some cool looking artwork of Armored Spider-Man. Up here, we do have the Marvel Comics logo, and then it does say Spider-Man with Spidey hanging out on the top of the letters there. On the back, we get a look at some other figures that recently came out along with Armored Spider-Man, and I pretty much have all these figures. The only one I still need is Hobgoblin. I'm not in a crazy rush for him. He's the one that I was least excited about from all these, but I think this is a really strong wave. A lot of good figures here. Right here we have this graphic that kind of shows us how to change out the hands. I think that's very cool. We used to see that in the 5-inch days. And then we get a little bit of information about the Armored Spider-Man. Up here we get some more artwork and some more awesome Spider-Man lettering, and that's about it for the packaging. It's not collector friendly, although it is possible to remove the figure and not completely damage the packaging. And you know, for me, once it's open. Like, it's not really intended to be taken out and put back into the packaging. It's not collector friendly or anything, but if you carefully open it from the bottom, you can definitely make it to where, you know, you could take the figure in and out of the packaging if you want. So every time I review a Marvel Legends retro figure, I mention how the packaging is not collector friendly, and everybody's always like, oh, you could cut it from the bottom and take it out. And yes, that's true, but you know, essentially the packaging is basically destroyed. Anyways, I always get 2 of the retro Spider-Man stuff anyways, so it's all good. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this awesome figure. All right, so here we have Armored Spider-Man right out of the box, and I've got to say, I think this is an awesome looking figure. I think that Hasbro did a great job with the sculpting and the detail and everything, and this guy turned out very nice. I really like these silver metallic parts because they kind of have a shine to them, and I think that it looks really cool. And there's a whole bunch of sculpting work on him, a lot of nice detail. He's got pinless elbows, pinless knees, and I just think this guy turned out really awesome. He does have a couple of setbacks in the articulation department, but you know, for the most part, I'm pretty impressed right out of the box. But yeah, the sculpt and design and just the look of him is really what's carrying him. But you know, I'm a fan of the design, so you know, I was bound to like the way he looks. But I think just as a figure, he's a lot of fun, and he just turned out really good. When I saw promo images and things like that, I was like, oh yeah, he looks cool, whatever. But then seeing him with my own 2 eyes, it's like, oh man, they really did a great job with the way he looks. So I am very happy with the design and the sculpting work. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at some of the detail, because they really did go all out with the details on him, which I'm very happy to see. So that's good stuff. The sculpting work on Armored Spider-Man is pretty well done. You could see that there's a whole bunch of detail on there. On the head sculpt, you could see the web lines and everything. I kind of wish there was a bit of a wash on the head sculpt just to bring out some of the web line sculpting a little bit more, but I still think that it looks pretty good. And then there's even detail like on the black areas of the suit. You could see that there's some texture there. And then just check out this armor, man. This looks really good. I love the shine to it, and it's not too strong, you know. The shine is subtle, but it still looks pretty nice. Look at that. That is super dope, especially when like the light hits it. It's very cool. Then you can see a bunch of detail right here on the side, on his arms. Bunch of nice sculpting work and detail. Again, we have those nice pinless elbows. The spider logo on the chest looks really nice. Oh, and I like how, like on the stomach of the spider, you can see a bit of texture in there that matches the rest of the black areas of the suit. So that's pretty interesting. And then we have the spider logo on the back that looks awesome. And look at that, just a bunch of really nice sculpting work on him. It's a little bit messy right there at the lower leg. I'm not sure what happened in there, but it's hardly noticeable. But we have some texture down here in the lower half of the body as well. And yeah, it's just really impressive the amount of sculpting work they put into this guy. It looks really good. And then for accessories, we really don't get a whole bunch, but we get some things, including 2 different sets of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists, and then we have a set of thwip hands. And then finally, we get these little web effects. And you know, I do appreciate the accessories that he came with, but I kind of wish there was a little bit more. Really, I just think they should have thrown in an unmasked Peter Parker head. I think any chance that they have to give us an unmasked Peter Parker, they should jump on it, and this would have been a good opportunity for it. And then now for some size comparisons. Here we have Armored Spider-Man alongside a couple of other bizarre looks that Spider-Man has had over the years. On the left, we have the Marvel Legends Cyborg Spider-Man, and on the right, we have the Marvel Legends Captain Universe Spider-Man. And you know, seeing Armored Spider-Man next to Cyborg Spider-Man, I kind of feel like the armored version is a little on the small side. Like, check out how big the Cyborg version is next to him. Like, Armored Spider-Man should at least be the same size, maybe even a little bit bigger. So he might be a little small. Doesn't ruin the figure for me or anything, but he definitely should have been a little bit bigger. And then next up, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro Wave Symbiote Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Venom the Space Knight Build-A-Figure Wave, I believe it was, Ultimate Miles Morales. And yeah, seeing Armored Spider-Man next to Symbiote Spider-Man kind of further reinforces the fact that maybe he should have been a little bit bigger. And then next we have him alongside 2 of the greatest Spider-Man figures ever. On the left, we have the Sentinel Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker. And on the right, we have the Mafex Classic comic book Spider-Man. And because the 90s, here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Armored Daredevil and the Marvel Legends Night Thrasher. And then next up, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Scarlet Spider and the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Armored something. I'm not even sure what this thing is called, but it's a very cool design, and I think he looks awesome next to Armored Spider-Man. And then, of course, we have him here alongside Pizza Spider-Man and Bucky Cap. And then as for the articulation, he does have some setbacks. Nothing major, but there are a couple of things they could have done differently to improve the articulation on this guy. As it is right now, he has a very standard, basic Marvel Legends articulation setup. And for me, you know, if I'm making up excuses or whatever, I'm okay with the articulation on him as it is because he's an armored version of Spider-Man. So, you know, I could kind of justify it in my head that way. Like, oh, he wouldn't be able to move like he would without the armor. So a little bit less articulation is okay, I guess. You know, but there are a couple of things I wish they did different. And it would have improved his articulation overall. But as I said, right now it's pretty basic. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the head. They did use the new style of neck that they've been using lately, and that's okay when they're able to put the articulation on the lower neck as well. But in this case, they didn't do that, so we only get the ball joint at the top of the neck. So he's able to look up to about right there, which is not really a whole lot. And then he could look down to right there, which is pretty limited as well. We do get some tilt, which is nice, and then he is able to look side to side. So I wish they would have done the head and neck differently. Either give him a hinge or put a joint at the lower neck too to make this all work together. As it is right now, it's pretty limited. And then for the torso, he does have an awesome ab crunch. Check that out. Boom. That's a pretty nice ab crunch going forward. And then you could bring it back to right there, which is also pretty nice. And then he does have a waist swivel. I would have definitely preferred if they did the diaphragm cut right in here because there's like a perfect spot for it. That would have been awesome. And the ab crunch, because just the way the design is, you could have hidden all that in here, and I think that would have made the articulation a lot more enjoyable. But as it is right now, it's still pretty good because of how deep this ab crunch goes. You know, that's a lot of range, so that's kind of what saves it. But I would have preferred the diaphragm cut and the ab crunch. I think that would have been better, but you know, it is what it is. And then for the arms, we do have ball jointed shoulders that do go all the way around, and then you can bring his arms up to right here, which is pretty nice. There we go. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. He's got pretty awesome double jointed elbows. Bam, look at that. Get some nice bend there. Get him in those boxing poses. So there we go, that works. And then he does have a swivel at the wrist and a hinge at the wrist. For the legs, they could come out to the side a pretty good amount, actually. That's nice. Then you could bring them up to right here. And if you crouch them forward, it kind of makes it seem like the leg is going up a little bit higher, so that's nice. Can't really bring it back all that much, but it goes to right there. Then he does have upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee, bam, there you go, look at that. And he doesn't have any lower leg swivel, which kind of sucks because they could have hidden it right in here in the boot, you know. They could have put the lower leg swivel in there. For some reason they didn't. I thought it was in there, man. I was heating them up trying to turn this, but it just wouldn't turn. So yeah, that's kind of a missed opportunity. They could have put a swivel there. And then for the foot, it could go forward to right there, come up to right there, and then we have rocking ankles. So yeah, like I said, very basic articulation, but he's still hella fun to pose. I'm having a good time messing around with them, and I think he looks awesome. It's easy to get him into cool looking poses. Can't really get him into the best crouch. I mean, the crouch would be decent because of the ab crunch, but the neck kind of messes it up for you, man. So I don't know, I might want to modify this neck. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, see that? That's kind of weak, man. They could have done a little bit more with that. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a way we could get a little bit more articulation out of this if you feel like chopping it up, which is what I might do. We'll see. But, you know, as it is, the articulation's decent, and he is fun to play with, so that's the main thing. So, overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, yes, this figure does have some shortcomings. They could have given him some better articulation. He should be a little bit bigger. They could have thrown in some more accessories. Blah, 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 blah. Even with all that, I think this thing is awesome. I think it came out really good. As far as the look, the sculpt, and the design goes, I think they killed it. Yeah, you know, there are things I wish were a little bit different, but for the most part, I'm really enjoying this figure. And even though the articulation is basic, I'm still having a lot of fun posing it around and playing with it. And, you know, I could be honest with you, I think nostalgia is playing a big role in why I like this figure so much. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I used to love this armor when I was a kid. I used to love that 5-inch figure. I remember what happened the day I bought it, you know, and that's how much it kind of stands out to me in my mind. So it's awesome that Hasbro made this figure, and I'm going to continue to have fun with it, even with its flaws. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, let me know what other versions of Spider-Man you'd like to see Hasbro do. I know there's a couple of versions that they need to redo. The main one that sticks out in my mind is Future Foundation Spider-Man. We really need a good version of that. Last time they did it, it was on the retooled Bullseye body, and that's not a very good figure. So hopefully they get around to doing that. I would like to see them try Spider-Man 2099 again, but on the Sunfire body. I think that would be way better than the one that they gave us. And there's a bunch of looks in the Spider-Man book called Spider-Man Life Story by Chip Zdarsky. I think that's how you say his name. There's a bunch of different looks that they could get from that book alone, and I would love to see them tackle some of those. But yeah, let me know in the comments what looks you'd like to see. It is the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man, so I'm sure that Hasbro is going to go crazy with it, and I really hope that they continue to make selections like this, you know, just random obscure things that maybe only a couple people are into, you know. I like those kind of choices when it comes to their character selection, and you know, it's Spider-Man, so it's always gonna do good, so they might as well just like get crazy with it and pick like really obscure looks for the character. You know, I think that'd be awesome. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope all you guys have a wonderful day. Peace. Did the intro like this. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe. Today we're going to be taking a look at Marvel Legends Armored Spider-Man. And yes, we've been waiting for this figure for a very long time. I've been super chatting bigger YouTuber channels to try to get it known that I want this now, you know, and they did it. They did it because of me. No one else, only because of me. But we're right here. We got the retro packaging all right here. We got Armored Spider-Man. We got some figures on the back. So I might start doing it like that.